leaving so soon?
I was just going to... I have to... I was trying to...
Sneak away.
Yeah. I mean, no.
There they are. Two of your favorite and beloved characters from the 80s. That, of course, was a scene from the movie The Neverending Story.
Love that movie. It's an 80s classic that has surpassed the test of time. In fact, we have news of a possible remake in the works.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting. This movie, by the way, is now, I think, on Hulu and Netflix, and that's how I was able to watch it again with my kids. And that's why we can say that it's passed the test of time, because my 2-year-old and 3-year-old loved this movie.
What were their reactions? Yeah.
This was the first movie that my son actually sat down on the couch with us and watched. I mean, a huge portion of it. I mean, it's like almost a 2-hour movie. But this movie, it's kind of interesting to look back in the movies at the 80s and think, okay, did they really do well? Because we know that, they're such beloved characters for us. But this one actually did, really well. It grossed $100 million worldwide.
Oh.
So at that time, it had a $60 million budget, which was approximately $27 million at that time. But yeah, it did really well. And you heard right. There's talks of a remake, Steph.
Oh, I'm so excited about this.
So, yeah, let's get to, and what's really exciting is the cast. Now, they did try this a couple years ago. There was some news, I think, from Warner Brothers that even Leonardo DiCaprio was in this. But Peter Jackson is actually the one who's going to be behind this one. If this comes to pass, like we're being told. Also, some other big names going to be in the movie. Cate Blanchett is going to play the Empress. Elijah Wood is going to
ask, is he gonna? Yes, he is. Okay.
He's going to play Bastion. And then my favorite, I think this is an excellent cast if this really happens. Orlando Bloom is rumored to play Atreyu.
Do they have a timeline of when this is coming out? Do we know when? Or is
We
this just
don't
a big
know
tease
yet.
for now?
I know. So this is according to StudioExec.com. They apparently have done a couple interviews with Peter Jackson as well. What's interesting about it as far as a timeline is Peter Jackson has said, when I looked at it, I was originally going to do a 90-minute thing, but then he said, no, speaking true to the title of the movie, I'm going to make it like a 16-part series.
My gosh.
It's going to take place over 20. So I don't know. We'll see what actually happens.
I'm going to be interested to see. You talked about the money that they made when they first came out and what they would make with the remake. I'm going to be excited to kind of compare that because I think it'll do well. Also.
Now, in rewatching The Neverending Story with my kids, I discovered something about myself that maybe you can relate to as well. We want to show you a picture. I actually can't look at the picture anymore because we need to ask. Do we have the picture? I think our directors and producers, there it is. Ah, my goodness, no one wants to see this. So this came out, do you remember this was last year, a couple months ago, where everybody kind of discovered that this was a phobia.
A real disorder that people have. They call everything
You're saying I have a disorder. So it's called trypophobia, and it's the fear of holes.
Okay, now what is that exactly? What are we looking at?
It's some type of flower, some kind of, it's a natural thing on Earth. That totally grosses. Does that bother you?
No, it looks funny. It looks kind of weird, but you are really grossed out by it.
It grosses me out to no end. The reason why we bring this up, because I wanted to prove that this phobia is a real thing, because with Neverending Story, I always kind of remembered when I was a kid, I wanted to like the dragon, but it kind of grossed me out. It kind of creeped me out. I didn't know. And if you notice on the back of the dragon, there's those little spots and those little circles.
Okay, so you are relating this to that same phobia. You think you have had this since you were a kid, huh?
Yes, I know, because I wanted to like the dragon, but he kind of creeps me out.
Well, so they came out with this study a while ago. We did a little host chat about it. We showed multiple pictures. And it was different things like flowers. I think cauliflower was one of them, but they all pretty much bothered you, right?
Yeah, for the most part. There's some, and it is interesting to say, why do some bother you and others don't?
Others, right.
The dragon obviously bothered me, so I have one request for the remake. Because the dragon, Falkor, has to be back, right? Like you can't make the movie without that. So yeah, just all fur. We don't need. No other holes or.
Send him an email, Carly.
That's my one request.
He did have such a sweet face, though.
I know, and he was cute, but I couldn't remember what it was that kind of creeped me out about it when I was a kid.
That is interesting, though. So find us on social media. We are everywhere. I want to know, does everybody else have this same feeling that you get?
Am I the only one?
About these holes? Because a lot of people.
Please let me know that I'm not.
Our production staff here, we were talking, our producer, Melissa, she feels the same way.
One of our directors.
So yeah, a lot of people. Alex over here was kind of, he's running our cameras here.
He says it's fine.
Yeah, he says, I'm not so much bothered by it.
All right, well, let us know. Okay, up next, we continue to take you back in time, long before the 80s. In fact, we're taking you back to the medieval times. We have details on this year's medieval fair taking place this weekend at Lakes Regional Park.